Hi there, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for sending in your video once again. I hope you have some time to work on the serve, but this time let's really focus on the forehand because that's what you sent the video in for. But yeah, I took a look at the video and I've seen some interesting points. This one is pretty straightforward for me for what I could see right away. You're struggling with players that have high forehands that kind of go over your shoulder height forehands, and you're struggling to hit a deeper ball or a heavier ball towards back in the baseline. And the reason is because first of all, you usually never hit close stance forehands. And what this does is, even if you're hitting open stand forehands, sometimes your chest is facing the court, which this should never be the case. Even if you're using close stands or open stand forehands, the left shoulder, if you're a righty of course, which you are, the left shoulder should always be facing the court. So for example, when you're hitting forehands, you're doing the split step and then you're turning your forehand, but this is the waiting position. It's open stance, both legs here. Chest is semi-close, sometimes you're here, sometimes you're here, and then inevitably you will have more action on the ball and a lot more spin because your chest is facing up. So usually you can rotate and kind of get a little bit of a top spin motion, and it's inevitable because your chest is open and you don't have any transfer of power from the back leg to the front. So if you had a close stance, you can load from the right leg to the left and you can transfer power. If you want to see from the side here, is from this leg I'm bending down and then I'm transferring. Shoulder is on the left, and no matter where the ball is, higher or lower, I can kind of slap it down to where I want. Whereas if you're open stance, you can only go from kind of back or low to up, and that's why you're getting a lot of this motion, which causes you to add a lot of spin and a lot of action to the ball, and it doesn't have a lot of flatness in it. Whereas if you're hitting close stance, what this does is you're helping your shoulders turn as you're hitting wherever they are. So if it's up here, you can slap it down. If it's from here, you can go forward. If it's low, you can kind of go underneath the ball. But I would encourage the over the shoulder shots. I encourage them sometimes to be open stance. But again, if it's open, you gotta make sure you're turning your shoulder, because from here, then you can hit the ball down. From here, you can really hit the ball up because your chest is facing up. And then sometimes you're gonna miss deep balls because if you don't control your shoulder here, it's gonna go fly up in the air. So I would encourage you to try and use close stands as much as you can, and then occasionally hit the open stand. Because from what I've seen, usually you have some time to prepare. So it's not like the ball is coming so fast that you don't have time to turn. It's literally from here, you take a step back, and then you move along this line to hit the forehand. Because as I said, if you can imagine, I don't know if you watch any of the baseball, but I really like this example. The baseball pitchers, when they throw the ball, they have the ball here and they never throw open stance because it's tougher to control. I mean, it's much tougher to throw straight from chest up, chest facing up. If they're throwing the ball, if let's say they have the racket, they're here. So they have a closed stance, and then they release on whatever they want. They can go high, they can go low, they can go straight. From this position, usually it's gonna go up because it's inevitable. I mean, it's so tough to. And also, I know Rafa does this crazy like off balance forehand sometimes, but we're talking about crazy stupid athlete there, too strong, too fit, just. Yeah, not a great example, but he doesn't do it all the time. If you see, he's always in position. If it's open stance, he's here, and if it's closed stance, he's always here. You can try semi-open, but I would recommend just the beginning when you start getting into it. Put the left leg in front of the right, always, and this shoulder should be facing the court that you're hitting. Even if you're open stance, still try to have the left shoulder facing the court. So this can help you kind of, instead of just hitting the ball with your arm, you can use your hips. If it's open, you can't really use your hips, but if it's open stance, you can really use the shoulders. So you can turn from here and then kind of guide the forehand to where you want. If it's up higher from open stance, you can really bring your hand higher and then slap it down. So you can have a more straight through forehand. If it's deeper and you have some time to go back and you want to play open stance so you can kind of lob and get back into the game, you can do that too. But I think the first and the most important thing you should do is try close stance. If it's open stance, still have your shoulders turned and always move forward. You don't want to go up. If you have a chest facing the court open, then inevitably you're going to have to go up because there's nothing pushing you inside the court. If your right leg is in front of the left, then it's good because you can kind of move from here to here. So you can keep moving forward. If it's open stance, you can't really move forward. Nothing is pushing you. If it's open stance and you have the shoulder, you can kind of lean forward and then hit the ball and go. But overall, I think this is the most important thing for you to work on, and let us know how it did, and let us know if the serve is going well, and we'll keep in touch. Have a good day.